Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Zach.
My name is Hayden.
Hey, and so for the next few episodes of the series,
For 14 of them. Sorry, for 5 of them, because, yeah.
we're going to be going through the book of James.
The Book of James. What a great book. That's why it's only 5 episodes, because there's like not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 chapters. So
5 chapters. Yeah, and I would say James is probably one of my favorite books in the Bible, man. I really believe it's a New Testament Proverbs.
Yep,
Almost.
it's like Proverbs, but if you added Jesus, basically. So it's really good. Ton of wisdom, ton of good stuff, and it kind of hits on like a ton of the topics that we have as questions. It kind of hits on like a ton of that. So not that we're going to be diving, directly deep into some of the questions that we had, but it hits a lot of things in a broad sense. So I think it's like a really good book, and just to like see what a Bible study looks like, and also to break down the Bible with y'all. Whether you know Jesus and you've read James 1,500 times, it's always cool to get different perspectives on it. Or maybe this is your first time opening a Bible ever or in a long time, and we get to see what James is and what all of it looks like. So it'll be fun.
Well, I guess the best place to start in a book is the beginning, correct?
Genesis 1:1. No, and also don't worry. You can trust Zach. He is a little worried about his reading skills, but he is prepared, and he only has about 18 verses, I think it is, to read, but he's got this in the bag. He majors in hermeneutics. Sorry. What you'll learn is that you shouldn't lie.
Hermeneutics, parentheses, business analytics.
The word analytics. Biblical analytics. That's what it is. All right.
No, I definitely can read. I was just cooked over crazy names in the Bible, dude.
Oh yeah,
like
no.
Zedebriah. Like, what are we talking about? Like, who was that?
Yeah, but
yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, basically just for like flow wise, we're gonna read. So a good thing to do would be to open your Bible, follow along with us. That'd be pretty cool. We're both reading out of CSB. That's a translation, by the way, if you didn't know. But what? So I mean, bro, there might be people who don't know.
No,
it's a
I
translation.
just thought of something stupid in my head.
Oh, I was like, bro, there might be people who like first time to this. So we're gonna read like the start to verse 18, because that's like kind of the first heading. Break that down, talk about that, all the things, and then we're gonna read from there, verse 19 to the end, and then talk about that. Kind of give a little summary, maybe a few takeaways, and then hopefully that gives y'all some insight into James, and y'all have some stuff that y'all can go and apply. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes dispersed abroad, greetings. We are one verse in. Didn't mess up. Praise God.
Yeah. And two, by the way, James is Jesus' brother. So that's what everyone believes, that this is written by James, Jesus' brother, who believes in Jesus. I mean, that's a pretty miraculous statement in there, right there. The Lord Jesus Christ. So like, I wouldn't believe that my brother is God unless he really did what he did. So just that in of itself is pretty cool. But
yeah,
that's who it's written by the way.
Yeah, so let's keep reading. The first part is titled Trials and Maturity. Verse 2. Consider it a great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. Verse 5. Now, if any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives it all generously and ungrudgingly, and it will be given him. But let him ask in faith without doubting, for the doubter is like a surging sea, driven and tossed by the wind. Verse 7. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord, being double-minded and unstable in all his ways. Let the brother of humble circumstances boast in his exaltation, but let the rich boast in humiliation, because he will pass away like a flower of the field. Verse 11. For the sun rises, and together with the scorching wind dries up the grass. Its flowers fall off, and because appearances perish, in the same way the rich person will wither away while pursuing his activities. Verse 12. Blessed is the one who endures trials, because when he stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. No one undergoing a trial should say, I am being tempted by God, since God is not tempted by evil, and he himself does not tempt anyone. Verse 14. But each person is tempted when he is drawn away and enticed by his own evil desires. Then after desires has conceived, then after desires has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and when sin is fully grown, it gives birth to death. Don't be deceived, my dear brothers and sisters. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. Verse 18. By his own choice, he gave us birth by the word of truth, so that we would be a kind of first fruit of his creatures.
A lot there.
Yeah.
Like we said, James is basically like the New Testament Proverbs. So a ton of stuff there. I know that's a lot, but let's kind of break it down, maybe like paragraph by paragraph or something, or just anything that kind of stands out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first paragraph is kind of one of the ones that stands out. I know me and you both talked about it to both of us. Consider it a great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials. I think that's so unique most of the time in life when we have something that's tempting us or something that is a hardship in life. It's very easy to be sad about it, be frustrated about it. And James just hits this like flip the script. Hey, consider all these trials, all these hardships in life that normally lead to sadness. Allow them to lead to joy. Like, that's very unique. And he says, you know, the testing of your faith produces endurance.
Yeah.
And so it's like he's saying that we should allow these trials and hardships in our lives to not be something that holds us in this trap of sorrow or depression, but leads us into great joy, because it can produce, if we're faithful and if we have the right perspective, it can produce endurance, which grows our faith.
So you're saying we can't be sad or anything?
Not at all. Sadness is not allowed. No, and I think like James is saying, consider it a great joy, which means naturally it's not.
Right.
And so he's saying it's about perspective. Like, he's not saying this is a great joy. He's saying, but you can consider it a great joy because of what it produces. And so, like, yes, naturally, if you have some trial in your life of, like, you're struggling financially, or maybe someone in your family dies, you have hardships, he's saying, I understand it's not a great joy. Consider it that because of what it can produce. He's saying there's meaning and purpose in the hardship. God doesn't just throw hardships your way to let you sit in them. He's saying there's beauty that can come out of those ashes, like a lot of songs that we sing. Yeah, I think that's really good.
Yeah, and then, you know, you quoted verse 3, but if you go down to verse 4, it says, let endurance have its full effect.
Yeah.
And also it says, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, what does endurance mean? You know, let me just look it up.
Just go ahead and search that up, because I'm not going to give you a good definition.
The greatest definition is the ability to sustain a difficult or strenuous activity over long periods of time. So even here, it's like, it's known you're not going to, you know, have just a walk in the field with roses and dandelions.
Oh, no, that's... No.
You know? But also, it's also comforting to know that if I walk through this field with lava rocks on the floor and lions about to eat my head off, it's like, you know, I'm good because I have the endurance to run through this.
Well, and I'd way rather walk through... I don't even know what you just said. I'd way rather walk through the lava field as a lion's about to bite my head off holding the hand of Jesus than walk through the roses and the daisies without him.
Yeah.
And, like, that is so much more. That's how comforting he should be. And that's why he's saying we can consider it a great joy.
Yeah.
Because of our faith.
And then also, once you have endurance, you're able to sustain and handle things that you've already went through.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, it builds on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It gives you a healthy perspective, too.
Yeah.
So.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I'd never thought about that before, but just that wording, consider it a great joy. Like him saying, this is not a great joy, but let's consider it this way because of what it can produce.
Because again, I mean, you can get caught in the trap of like, well, this is terrible, my life is horrible. But it's like, well, dude, if you follow Jesus, you know, you have to be locked in. You have to consider things that are negative, positive, to make it to where you can still show people about Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, and it gives you endurance to do that. So you can walk alongside somebody that's struggling in the same spot you were in and tell them how to and show them and help them how to get through it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's all about perspective. I should be crucified on a cross if he didn't die for me. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool that now I have faith in him. I can consider these bad trials an opportunity for joy.
Yeah, and then ultimately it'll mature you and complete you, and you'll
Yeah.
be lacking of nothing.
I think too, like this next paragraph is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it kind of talks about the opposite. So the other one ends in lacking nothing, and then it starts with any of you lacks.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, what should I do if I lack something? That's a big question. Maybe not as much for Christians, but definitely for unbelievers. Like, what do I do when I lack wisdom, or when I lack understanding, or when I want to gain knowledge, or when something's missing in my life? What do I do? And he says, ask God.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times, I don't know why, but you just said that, and it's like, I think a lot of times people look for wisdom in the wrong things,
Yeah,
you know?
a lot of wrong places, sadly.
So, yeah. But,
And then I think too, the cool affirmation of God, who it describes him, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly. So not only are you just asking this, like we've joked about, the lightning bolt God.
Yeah.
It's like, right, you can't ask that, you can't ask that, but you can't ask this. It's like, no, he gives generously. Like, ask him. And then it even goes down further and saying, like, just ask in faith. Like, and if you're struggling with doubt, God, I'm struggling with doubt, but I believe that you can, kind of like when Jesus met that guy and he
help
was
my
saying,
own belief.
yeah, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief.
Yeah.
And Jesus didn't condemn him. And so it's like in the same way, it's like just talk to God in faith and ask him for wisdom, ask him for whatever. He's a generous, ungrudging giver. You can ask him. I think that's really good.
Yeah, I like that. Verse 9, it talks about, let the rich boast in humiliation, because he will pass away like a flower of the field. For the sun rises together with the scorching winds, dries up the grass. Its flowers fall off, and its beautiful appearance perishes. In the same way, the rich person will wither away while pursuing his activities. So I thought about that. I'm like, what could that mean?
Mm-hmm.
And my only thought is, like, rich. Are we talking about money rich? Rich in life? Like, what kind of rich?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think it's talking about the wealthy, like,
Yeah.
and so yeah, more so on the financial side. But I think the end of which 11's a little longer, but like the back half of 11, like that last sentence.
Yeah.
In the same way, the rich person will wither away while pursuing his activities. Like, I think that just shows that there's nothing that we could chase in this world.
Yeah, I was about to get that.
And it could just be finances, could be anything else. There's nothing that we could pursue. And this myth that money buys happiness, or once you have money, you can pursue all these things you wanted to pursue, and it will lead to satisfaction, is saying he's gonna wither away while pursuing this stuff.
Yeah, and I'd like to think even rich. I mean, I think the rich person, it can be, like you said, it can be multiple things. Like rich in money, be rich in popularity, it can be rich in women, it can be rich in alcohol, it can be rich in drugs, like whatever that looks like. But at some point, I think the message of it is saying that whatever you're pursuing, if it's not Jesus, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you're not rich in Christ, everything else that you would pursue that you're rich in, you'll wither away chasing.
And it's gone.
It's over. And
go back to Ecclesiastes real quick.
Go back to Ecclesiastes. Everything's
Thing
meaningless.
matters.
All of it.
Yep.
Nothing matters. Anything under the sun, which is everything that's around here, pointless. It's like a circle.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, I will say
Sorry,
that.
I'm kidding.
Say that for
I'm
another
joking. All right, sorry.
All right, but I think verse 12 is what's really neat.
Yeah, it ties back to 2 and 3.
So verse 12, real quick, just to reread it. Blessed is the one who endures trials, because when he stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him.
It's like this. It's this balance of like 2 and 3 talk about, testing and trials are an opportunity for joy because they produce endurance. When endurance is in its full effect, you can be mature, lacking nothing. But then, what also does endurance produce? It produces a reward, the crown of life that God's promised to those who love him. And it's cool. I was looking at like some commentaries on it, and like, I guess biblical scholars, which is not to get like deep, but like they just view it in a ton of different ways. Like some people view it as the crown of life of just salvation. Some view it as like this alternative reward of faithfulness. Some view it as just the blessing of the promise that enduring through bad times and staying close to God will lead to good times. Like, which, you get a little too close to that can be prosperity, obviously. But like, there's a lot of different ways you can
We
view
have a
that.
book downstairs, don't we?
We do have a book downstairs about prosperity.
Two
gospel.
of them, actually.
Yeah, we do. But regardless, the ultimate result is you receive a crown of life. And whether that is ultimately just eternal life with Jesus, which is all you would ever need if that's all it was, or it's this alternative reward, or it's your life getting, maybe receiving a blessing after enduring through trials. Regardless, you receive a crown of life. So endurance doesn't only produce an opportunity, or trials don't only produce an opportunity for joy and endurance and maybe not lacking, lacking nothing. It also produces that reward of the crown of life. And that's like a really cool balance that trials can bring about. Those, 4 things I think that I just said? So it makes sense why he says you can consider it an opportunity for joy. There's a lot of good things that can come out of those bad situations.
Yeah. And last thing I want to touch on before we continue reading is James 1:15-16.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just cut it short for you guys. But basically it's saying that we are tempted by our own desires, not by God.
Yeah.
Right? And from our own desires, it leads to the birth of sin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, even back with Adam and Eve, it's like they desired something different. They sinned. So it's natural for us to sin. So tempted by our own desires gives birth to sin. Right?
Yeah.
That sin then grows to be fully grown and then gives birth to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I think it's really easy to pin stuff on the devil or other people.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it comes back to us. Like, the devil tempts you with something because he knows you'd be tempted to do it. Right. So that comes back to you. Like, me personally, like, I've never really struggled with alcohol. So, like, why do you think I'm never tempted to drink alcohol? Because it's not something my flesh desires.
Yeah.
But lust or pride or selfishness or 15 other things, he likes to tempt me with that. But I can't pin that on him.
Yeah.
It comes back to me, something that I'm tempted to do.
Yeah, because at some point, the sin, the birth of that sin was already given, and it's like it's growing at some point.
Yeah. Well, that's what, at Crossroads, the summer camp we served at, it was funny. There's this one message, I'll make this really short, that Zach wasn't at. But there was this guy, and he gave this really good, like, I think it really, he maybe even have taught out of this specific spot in James. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Talking about verse 15, that, then after the desire is conceived, it gives birth to sin. When sin's fully grown, it gives birth to death. He was talking about how dangerous sin is, and he gave it in this story of, most of y'all probably know, there's a ton of people who like to have exotic animals. And he just gave this specific story, I guess, from somewhere around where he was from, or he had seen it on the news, of there was this person who found a baby lion and took it in to be their own. And over time, as the lion grew up, obviously the natural instincts of a lion are to feed on its prey. It is a top dog predator. And after a long time of the lion growing up and being fully grown, the lion ended up killing its owner, even though the owner had loved it and cared for it and fed it and did all these things.
Yeah.
And he was explaining in the same way of bro, this is exactly what sin is. Sin may come in like a cute little baby lion, but if you let that junk grow, it's going to not be a cub anymore. It's going to grow into a absolute apex predator and kill you. And he's saying that's the ultimate thing. And then he gave this funny joke of you have this little baby lion called Fluffy, you got to take him out the back and blast him. And I was like, oh my, wow, I've never heard that in a sermon. That may be one of the craziest quotes I've ever heard in a sermon, but it stuck. And now it's for sin, you got to take your sin outside and blast it. You can't let it grow. It's not like a plant. You can't keep watering it. You got to kill it, or else, like you said, it's going to grow and give birth to death. That's all it can ever lead to. That's all it can ever do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Since I wasn't there, what the crowd say when they have or
everyone was
laugh?
just it was the gas, because he said so if you have that little Fluffy, you better take him outside and blast him. And I was like, I don't think I've ever heard that in a sermon in my whole life. I never thought that would be a quote.
Talk
Like,
about an attention grabber.
I was literally writing notes, and I wrote down, "Take Fluffy out back and blast him." I was like, am I really like in a service right now? Is this like, am I
Definitely got to
watching
be a dream, bro.
Oh, that's what it felt like. But like I said, it was a really smart thing in the sense of like, it hooked me, and it also really applied. So
Yeah.
that was really good. But yeah, I mean, also too, really quick.
Yeah.
Like I know James is very thick. There's a lot of stuff in it. But too, in verse 17, something you can be confident about, like every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. Like we serve a God who doesn't just change, right? Like he's consistent. The same God that is with you in those high mountaintops seasons of your life that are good is also, we can trust his character that he's the same when life isn't as good too. And verse 18, that by his own choice he gave us birth by the word of truth, so that we will be a kind of first fruits of his creation. NLT says like prized possession. So like you can take confidence in that it was his choice to create us, and out of all creation we became his prized possession, his first fruits, image bearers of him. So that's very, very good too. And I know we didn't hit on that for a while because we got to hop in this other section, but
yeah,
that's a really good identity verse, that I'm a prized possession, I'm a first fruit, and he chose to create me, you, everyone else that way, and we can be confident in that. But yeah, that's really good. So that's the first section. Like we said, if you need to pause or do whatever and go back at that, James is very thick, but it's full of a lot of good stuff. This next title, little heading, is Hearing and Doing the Word. This is a little shorter, but just as deep. So verse 19 says, "My dear brothers and sisters, understand this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. For human anger does not accomplish God's righteousness. Therefore, ridding yourselves of all moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent, humbly receive the implanted word which is able to save your souls." Verse 22. "But be doers of the word and not hearers, deceiving yourselves. Because if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he's like someone looking at his own face in a mirror. For he looks at himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of person he was." This is a really good part. "But the one who looks intently into the perfect law of freedom and perseveres in it, and is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer who works, this person will be blessed in what he does. If anyone thinks he is religious without controlling his tongue, his religion is useless, and he deceives himself. Pure and undefiled religion before God the Father is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself unstained from the world." A lot there.
yeah. I think. I think the whole first, block here, 19 through 21.
Yeah.
It's just talking about everything that you should do as a follower of Jesus. It's, be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Right? And then it says these three things, and it's like, why does this really matter to us? And it's because human anger does not accomplish God's righteousness.
Yeah.
How hard is it to be slow to speak?
Insanely hard. We're so naturally selfish, bro.
Like,
It's
I want to talk about,
let me say all this stuff about Hayden, and then we'll get to Zach.
Yeah.
Like, let me say all this stuff about me, and then we'll get to you. Like, it's so hard to be slow to speak.
But it's like, well, how am I quick to listen if I'm, quick to talk? Can't
be.
It's
It's funny, like I said, even in the start with verse 2, consider it a great joy, for the trials. Like, he kind of flips all these normal things on your head, like, of what our natural desires are. Our natural desire is to be slow to listen, quick to speak, and quick to anger. And he's like, here's the challenge, reverse it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, that's hard to do.
And it's like, be slow to anger. Dog, tell me that when I didn't know Jesus. Like, what are you talking about?
Tell me that when I do know Jesus. Like,
True.
Tell me that right now, and it's still like slow to anger. And it's like sometimes you do good at it, but then when you get around that person that aggravates you, or you get someone says something that just trips you, it's like that slow to anger ramps up real quick.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, why? And then the biggest thing for me is like, doesn't accomplish God's righteousness.
Yeah, the way he wants us to live, like it doesn't ultimately accomplish it. And I think it's like he's saying like normally being slow to listen and quick to speak is going to lead to something that could end up having you angry. Could lead to conversations where if I'm not listening to the person, I'm just yapping. Like either that's gonna show that I don't have value in what they have to say.
Yeah.
Or if it's a conversation that's actually something of importance that could lead to an argument, if I'm not listening to you and I'm just yapping the whole time, and every time you try and talk, I talk over you, that's probably going to lead to anger. And that's probably why he's saying this stuff like doesn't accomplish God's righteousness. So you need to be not quick to speak, slow to speak. Not slow to listen, quick to listen. That's what will help keep your anger away and help you actually show value in the people that you talk to.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
I like to it talks about how it says humbly receive the implanted word,
Yeah.
which is able to save your souls. Like humility is so slept on because a lot of people don't want to do it, including me.
Us.
Like it's all of us, but you can't receive the word if you're too prideful to know that you need it. And it's like you gotta humbly accept it. You have to humbly understand that, like you were talking about in those verses earlier, we are sinful. It's us that leads us away. Like the enemy might do the tempting, but we're the ones who are tempted by it. And it's like it's us. And so how do you receive the word? You gotta humble yourself to understand you need it. And it has the power to save your souls if you'll do that.
It's like, bro, I don't want to humble myself.
It's like, well, bro, you better figure it out, dog. Like,
I know, but it's like, man, like, humbling yourself is a hard thing. And, like, naturally, me being me, we being we, like, we don't want to humble ourselves.
No.
Because it's like,
But
you're telling me if somebody says something crazy to me, I ain't supposed to say nothing, like, crazy back. Or if I have a feeling towards somebody and they have, a negative feeling towards me, I'm not supposed to argue with them like that.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to sit there and listen to what they have to say before I really say anything? Like, no.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, at some point it's going to lead to your destruction.
And that's
what it says in Proverbs.
That's
Like,
it,
pride comes before destruction.
And so following Jesus and knowing this, I think it gives all of us the confidence. It's like, you know what, bro? That argument's not going to matter. Like,
No. Or the pride that I have in myself of this ego or whatever it is doesn't matter when ultimately it's going to lead me to destruction. Like it's not going to be good. And so like it'd be better to be humble and accept the implanted word that is able to save your soul.
Yeah, because I mean, like, that mindset that I was just, playing the role of is like, man, none of that matters. Like, dude, you can be mad and it accomplishes nothing. But, I've been mad at people and I've been able to talk to them how, I think Jesus would want me to talk to them and have a conversation with them. And it went way better than I would have thought it would have went.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I guess we can jump down to verse 23 now.
Yeah.
Because if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like someone looking at his own face in the mirror. Wait.
Well,
I thought I was like saved by Jesus, no? I'm just kidding. All these questions,
like,
right?
Yes. Yes, actually. But,
Right.
Yeah, I think it's like be doers of the word, not just hearers, or else you're deceiving yourself.
Yeah, and then I'll just keep reading. That was just a little funny little bit. For he looks at himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of person he was. But the one who looks intently to the perfect law of freedom and perseveres in it, and is not forgetful here, but a doer who works, this person will be blessed in what he does. So I think, obviously, you're not saved by works, and I don't think that's even what this is talking about, but I just want to throw that in there just to...
Oh, wait, did I read that as perseveres earlier? Is that preserves?
Preserves. I think so.
Perseveres.
Perseveres.
Yeah, it's got to be
What'd I say?
perseveres. You said preserves. It's got to be perseveres. You had me, like, second guessing. You're making me think I can't
Well, I said
read.
perseveres first, and I was like, no, it's not right. And I was like, glanced at it, but... no, but I mean, I think all this... It's weird, like, it all stacks, because... for you to accomplish the righteousness of God, you have to be humble, right? And then it's like, for you to do work, like you have to humbly do work of God. Like, like when you're doing work for God, it's not, well, I'm getting something out of this. And I think if you're doing it that way, that's where you're wrong.
Yeah.
And also, I think there's this thing where it's like, oh, well, the more I do, the more God's going to love me. And it's like, no, like, God's love is God's love no matter what you do. And I think even bigger, the more you come to love Jesus and know who God is and know the things, and the more humble you become, it comes natural. Like wanting to tell people about Jesus because of what you've seen in your life. Like, well, I'm not as angry anymore.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I love to listen to people talk now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, for me, at least to 23, that's something I like to take away from that. But then if we look at it, for he looks at himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of person he was. And then, but the one who looks intently in the perfect law of freedom and perseveres in it. Goodness gracious. I can read, guys, I promise. It just, the brain is working faster than the eyes,
Yeah, it happens.
And it's not a forgetful hearer, but a doer who works. This person will be blessed in what he does.
Yeah, I think with that it gives the answer.
Yeah.
So like how do you become someone who is not just a hearer of the word, but a doer? And it's this very unique. Like I've been thinking about this verse specifically a lot recently.
Oh, you
like,
got it, bro.
Since we've been doing it and looking at doing James, like the one who looks intently into the perfect law of freedom.
So, like, glances at it?
No, like stares at it.
Like studies it?
Stone Cold Steve Austin cold stare. Like, just. But I think what's unique about that is like most of the time. So the way that you do it is by understanding what it means by perfect law of freedom, and like to me, a lot of times we think it's this shift from the fact that the laws that God has for us, whether that are the literal Ten Commandments or the things that He's placed on our hearts, the convictions are not a trap. These aren't something that bind us. Like I feel like a lot of times we treat this like God's design and the way that we should live like speed limits. Well, I don't really want to go 55, and they're just telling me I can't go 60, so I'm gonna go 65, or like. Well, I guess I'll go like 30 and stray way away from everything because 55 is the thing. And it's like, why would you put 55 on a 2-lane road when there's no alternatives and there's no lights? Like, why can't I go 70? And it's like, that's not actually what it is. It's not some hindrance or some limit to you. It's kind of like, regardless, these are laws that set you free. You are a slave of sin, and this sets you free. These are not laws that may bind you, like the law of the speed limit. Or fill in the blank, whatever other law it is, like how you can't rent a car until you're a certain age, or anything like that, or you're not even legally grown until 18. That may feel like a binding law, or you can't even legally drive by yourself till you're 16. In some states it's different, but this is not a binding, restrictive law. This is a law that sets you free,
Yeah.
and that's ultimately what it is.
Yeah, I agree. And then I think one of the last things I would touch on, we'll go through a couple takeaways real quickly. I think something that's so important, and I think James talks about this quite, I know James talks about this quite a bit in his book. Verse 26, if anyone thinks that he is religious without controlling his tongue, his religion is useless and he deceives himself. I think the way we talk to people, talk about people, and talk in general, all have a massive effect on the way that Jesus is showed.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but I know in the Bible it talks a lot about your tongue, the way you talk.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about how a horse is steered by this little bit that's put in its mouth, or a boat is steered by a little rudder.
Yeah.
And I think so deeply about the things that we say and how they affect people.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, we follow Jesus, and following Jesus means you have to be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah. In Proverbs, talk about the tongue can bring life or death.
Right.
Like, that's how important it is to control your tongue.
Yeah. And again, I think we'll get a lot more into this. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I think we'll get a lot more into this in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
All right.
And really quick, too.
Yeah. 27?
Yeah, I really like that. If you want to know what pure and genuine religion is, if you want to know what it genuinely looks like in the eyes of God the Father, verse 27, to look after orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself unstained from the world. And obviously James is not saying this is only enclosed to being orphans and widows. He's saying in this time that was the most helpless people in society. And so ultimately what he's saying is look after those who are helpless, those who are weak, those who are broken, those who are struggling, those who are hurting. Look after them, and then don't let the sins of this world catch your eye. Don't let them corrupt you. Don't give in to the temptations that your flesh is going to want to give into. That's what pure and genuine religion, undefiled religion, what it looks like to follow Jesus is. Taking care of those who are broken and hurting and helpless, and then not living in sin that the world offers.
Yes,
That's really good.
I agree. Yeah, so a couple takeaways from me, and I'll let you have a couple. I think a couple of ours are about the same.
Yeah.
First one's first. I think you have to be joyful in your trials.
Yeah.
Not
joy.
because they're joyful, but because
Consider them joy.
you can consider it joy. And that you can have faith and confidence in it, that God is using that to mature you and grow you.
Yeah.
And that's not just some situation that you're going to be stuck in because God doesn't love you.
There's never a trial he's not going to use for good in some way.
And another one for me is to be mindful that we're tempted by our own desires, not by God.
Mm-hmm.
And our desires that we have lead to the birth of sins.
Yeah.
Those sins grow fully, and then eventually those birth death.
Yeah. So take Fluffy out back and blast him, bro.
Blast him, bro.
Don't let it grow. Yeah, I mean, and then I'd say, too, just out of the encouragement, verse 18 is a very good identity verse. For any follower of Jesus, it was his choice to give us birth by the word of truth. That's a confidence that we can have in him. And we, out of all creation, became his first fruits, his prized possession. We are his image bearers, and he made us to be like him. And then I would say, too, but the way that God wants you to live, while it may seem hindering and restrictive, it's actually freeing. And I've even seen a example of that, of like a guy playing a guitar like backwards, which is impossible. And he's like, the world may say to do things like this, and this may be fun, and this may be cool, but what if I turned it around and actually tuned it and then started playing it? And it's like, what, do I have to play it this way? Well, it's like, this is the way it was intended to be played if you want to actually produce music. And in that same way, it's like, well, do I have to not do this? Do I have to not do this? It's like, but God created you not to do that. And while it may feel restrictive, not doing that and actually listening to him and living in that life leads to freedom. And that'd be my two things that are really good to take away.
Yeah, I really like that. Well, next on the episode block, we have James 2.
James Dos, not Uno, Dos.
Trey? I don't know how you speak Spanish. Fun fact, I didn't take Spanish. I actually dropped out of Spanish class.
Fun fact, I didn't pay attention in history class, apparently, so.
And I took American Sign Language. Got 2 A's. Do not remember most of it.
I did not.
Yeah. So I think that's all we got for this one. Like I said, Chapter 2 coming soon to a podcast place near you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, let us know. If you don't let us know. Sorry.
Peace out, Rainbow Trout.
Peace.